Hello and welcome back to World Traveler Cooking. Today I'm going to show you how to make a chicken broth, and I'm going to use this actually to make a velouté sauce, which I'll probably release the video first. Now, there are a bunch of different ways you can make chicken broth. You probably want to pay attention to recipes from the region where you're doing the cooking, but the following chicken broth I'm going to show you is a fairly good basic starting point, and you can use it to make a variety of styles once you kind of get used to it. Now, basis of course is the chicken, and if you can find like chicken carcasses like this, use them. They work really well. Otherwise, if you buy and roast a whole chicken, you can take the carcass after you've roasted it and cut all the meat off, and you can use it. I think it'll come out a little better if you start with an uncooked roast, but both cases can give you a nice chicken broth. Your major vegetable components are celery, onion, and carrot. These are the same that you've seen in like an Italian sofrito, and they give the broth a nice neutral body to it along with the chicken flavor. Of course, we'll also have salt. Now, I'm going to season this one with some parsley, a couple of bay leaves, and a little bit of teragon and rosemary, both of which have dried out of it in my refrigerator. That'll be okay. I don't think that'll impact things too badly here. Now, in French cooking, we could tie these into a bouquet garni, but for a broth, I don't really see the point since we're going to basically strain everything out anyway. Bouquet garnis are really nice when you're making a sauce because it allows you to fish your herbs out together. I don't see the point in doing that here. So we're going to put this in a pot together. I think I will cut the onions in half just to make them infuse better. And I'll probably break the carrot in half also too. But otherwise, this will all just go in as it is. Into a pot, add maybe 1.5 liters or so of water, and then we'll get started. So here we have the main vegetables and 1 liter of water. I'm going to add another 400 milliliters, I think. And then I will add my seasonings on top. We'll put this on high heat, and when it boils, or when it starts to simmer, I will move it over to a lower heat. Now, this is really important if you want a clearer broth. You want to simmer it slowly. You do not want to hard boil it. So we're going to go ahead and, as I say, let this come up to a simmer, and then we'll move it over. Well, just two other quick notes. I did add a bunch of salt here. Salt it like you would a soup, obviously, but you can also taste it after it's been boiling for a while and adjust the salt. It's much easier, of course, to add salt than take it out, so better to use less than too much. But if you add too much, then add more things to absorb the salt, and you can take those out. Things like potatoes actually work really well for that. Now, one thing I did want to mention is that I did peel these onions. The reason for that is that onion peels can add a slight unpleasant bitter taste, but they don't usually. That's totally optional, but I figured I'd point it out. So now we can see occasional bubbles coming up. So we're going to keep this relatively turned down, and we're just going to simmer this for a couple of hours. Now, after a couple of hours, we're just going to come and strain the broth. Since I'm going to use some of this for sauce, I'm going to be careful about letting some stuff sit on the bottom. Just want to show you the result here. Now, if we wanted to make a chicken soup, we could actually probably pull some of that meat off to go in the soup. The rest of this will need to get discarded now. So I'm just going to take a quick taste test, and then we'll be done with this. And now to taste this chicken broth. Now, of course, this is an ingredient, not a dish, so of course keeping that in mind. And noting that many people would of course add some pepper, I didn't do that in part because I'm going to use it for a sauce, but you might want to do that also. Really like the flavor of this. This is bordering on probably a little bit on the salty side, but really, really, really tasty. This would be a perfect base for like a really nice chicken soup. And I actually think it's fine without the pepper. So, if you find this content interesting, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. We've also put a list down below of places you can find and follow and support my work. If you make a dish like this differently, I'd love to hear how you do it differently. Please let me know in the comments. And at any rate, recipes in the description. Bon appetit, and see you next week.